I was rewatching all Mission movies this past week, and
you had time.
A marathon.
And Simon, this is your first time showing up in the series. Did you know what you're doing back then?
Did I know what I was doing? I didn't know for a second that it would be 20 years that I'd be doing it for. It was my first time in Hollywood ever. I was on the Paramount lot. I met Tom and Ving on set for the first time. I had an 8-page monologue. I was jet-lagged and hungover, and I was jet-lagged. I was terribly, and you know, it was an overwhelming experience. But when J.J. Abrams called me and said, "Do you want to come and do number 4? How would you like it if Benji was a field agent?" I was immediately interested, and here we are 20 years later. It's an incredible story.
Wow.
Yes. You say the real challenge for this one, physically and technically, was going to the Arctic. So how do you keep warm, and how do you do any facial expressions under minus 40 degrees?
Yeah, that's a good question. We had a team, the Polar X company, who specialize in working in environments like that. So the training with them very much involved the layers of clothing you needed, from the thermal clothing and the costume on top of that, and making sure that you weren't, when you were inside getting ready, that you weren't too warm, because if you're warm outside, you're gonna sweat, and the sweat's gonna get wet on your skin, and that can freeze, and that can become dangerous. So these little sort of things that we had to kind of keep in mind. But then we had a team of people kind of checking on us. You know, you can't be in an environment like that without experts and survivalists, kind of just making sure that you can survive in it. So I think it's just also, like, I loved the cold. I found it very invigorating and inspiring to be there. So the challenge becomes an opportunity, really, to just to enjoy how unique the experience is.
I almost lost my nose in the Arctic.
In the Arctic, yeah.
That's not
because
funny.
it's so cold.
You've got such a nice nose. I would hate to see it fall off.
How can you do any facial expressions under that cold moment?
Oh yeah, it was like frostbite, wasn't it? You nearly got frostbite.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was turning white, you know.
So was it easy to go to the restaurant?
Oh my God, I don't want to answer that.
I heard that you met the polar bear.
Yes, we shot in the Arctic, and there were moments where we had to stop shooting because a polar bear was walking past us. And then we were on a boat, and we were playing cards late at night, and we heard the sound up on deck, and we all went up on deck, and we saw this polar bear who was standing on its hind legs with his paws on the side of the boat, and it was so beautiful. It's never, you know, if I went on a grand tour of the Arctic, I doubt that I would ever even be that lucky to see a polar bear. So this was a very special, coincidental moment.
CIA Black Vault break-in.
We must talk about the legendary William Dunlow. What was your first time meeting with him like?
Oh, okay. Let me tell you a funny story. So we were staying at the same hotel, and we were getting on a elevator, and like I hit the button, and he was coming in. So I said, "Oh, come in." So I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "Hey, how you doing?" So we don't speak to each other because we don't know that we're like filming. And I'm looking, I'm like, he looks familiar. So he said, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" And I said, "Oh, I'm here for work." I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, here for work," because we realized we were both Americans. So then we get to set, and I'm like, "Hey, the guy looks familiar," but we get to set, and all of a sudden he comes through, and you're like, "Elevator, buddy?" And I was like, and in that moment, I put two and two. He didn't even tell me. I was like, "Donlow?" And he was like, "Oh yeah."
Now you know it.
Yeah, that was so cool.
I'd actually worked with Rolf in 2000 on a sitcom. Hadn't seen him for years, you know, and I was so delighted that they brought his character back, because, you know, what happens to him in Mission Impossible 1, you know, through no fault of his own, really, he gets exiled to Alaska, and it was such a lovely, that's McHugh. I mean, McHugh is just a genius when it comes to, you know, connecting the little threads that exist in this franchise, and it was a delight. And Rolf is such a sweetheart. He's a really lovely guy. So to have him back, he thought, when he found out that he was going to be, or he found out that McHugh was going to call him, he thought he was being pranked. He didn't believe it. He honestly thought his friend was playing a joke. And it wasn't until McHugh appeared on the Zoom that he was like, oh, this is real. You know?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I got to say that when I was first approached, I thought it was a joke. I thought a friend of mine was winding me up, and when McHugh came on screen, it was like, wait, what? Holy smokes! And it's just been like a dream going forward. It gets better and better. Filmed in one of the most amazing places, if not the most amazing place I've ever been in my life, Svalbard. Beautiful. Spent a couple of weeks up there on a glacier with this crew. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
I must confess, last time I hate you so much. But this time, you moved me to tears by your performance. And everyone was asking, where is Angela, where is Erica when the last one coming out? So how good was it for you to be back?
Wonderful to be back. Yeah, pretty tough the last time. I thought, okay, well, I just miss out and I'm gonna miss out. But McHugh found a way to keep Erica around, so I was absolutely thrilled about that.
Was there any most difficult part for you this time to step into the Erica's shoes?
You know, just holding it together under this extreme stress, you know, not being able to, not difficult, but very interesting and wonderful to play all the sort of subtleties of this character, what she knows, what she says, what she shares, and what she ultimately does, the steely determination that she has to maintain. You know, this mother, this nurturer, all of the this colleague who cares about, you know, the people who work with her, and then balancing that with the determination that you need, and the resolve that you need, you know, and keeping yourself steady so that others will feel confident in the decisions that we have to make.
You always look so confident whenever you showed up. How possibly can you do that?
I think perhaps by being still. It's power in stillness.
How to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Because you always feel so worried about everything and not to do the best work.
Right. What do they say? Fear is fear, you know, acronym for false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. So remain still, breathe, and have faith. You know, have faith. And you don't need much.
What was the best thing to be on a Tom Cruise set?
I think his dedication and the focus and the level of sort of respect for movie making and every aspect of it, from lighting to sound to set design to camera operation, to the composition within a frame. Every aspect of filmmaking is demystified for someone working on a Tom Cruise film, because he encourages you to be involved in it all and to understand what goes into it.
The positivity on set, for a start. You know, you walk in on my first day, it was just like, holy cow, and everybody's smiling. And on film sets, that's not always the way. This one, absolutely. And yeah, there's an excitement, there's a focus. People will wait. I mean, if things need fixing, they'll fix it. Let's stop. Let's do this again. Yeah, and it's very positive. It's not like, oh, come on. There's none of that. Which, for a work environment, is fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
One little secret about Tom that people might not know about.
You know, I think he's a pretty much an open book. Loves to dance, loves to laugh, has a ready smile, enthusiasm, optimism, hard worker, great leader. Yeah, I don't know any secrets other than that I can share, but those things, yeah, pretty positive.
The most hilarious blooper moment this time. Greg, did you lose another shoes this time?
Yeah. Oh, I lost a shoe on the train in Norway when we were. Did you? Yeah, I was like, and it was scary because I was like, wow, that could have been me. What was a funny blooper moment?
We have moments when we're a little bit giggly.
Oh, that's all the time though.
Yeah.
Trying to keep a straight face, especially with Tom does these things where it's like as soon as we're about to do like a serious take, he may say or do something, so you have to like try to keep a straight face.
He has like
Such
a goofy
as-
mood sometimes.
I'll tell you one occasion. We were doing the scene when Tom comes out of the entity coffin, and because he wanted to be really kind of out of breath and disoriented when he came out, before the take, every time he would jump up and down on a trampoline.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Tom Cruise jump up and down on a trampoline so many times in one day. And we were all just starting to like, every time he'd do it, we'd just all be looking at each other like, he's doing it again.
Yeah, it was kind of funny
Yeah.
because like the scene is so serious and it was so like weird that it brought something funny for sure.
What was your last day on set like? Did you all cry or have a big party, something like that?
We had a dinner. We had a couple dinners, but it was great to be able to get to dinner, raise a glass of wine, laugh, joke, reminisce on the scene, stories. Some of our cast are great storytellers, especially Holt.
No, I don't really cry when I say goodbye to people. It's a joyful kind of celebration. And he said on the last day of filming, movies is not something I do, it's who I am. And I think that was a beautiful sentiment to leave on.
I think you were like the last to wrap the movie, right? Because you were doing reshoots.
Yeah, we all wrapped several times, because you do your picture wrap on principal photography, and then there's always, you're going to probably come back and do some pickups. So it's never really like a definitive end. Even when I finished my last day of pickups, which was I think about a month ago, we were joking.
Crazy.
In fact, McHugh said at the cast and crew screening the other night, he said, I would just want to thank all of you guys, and I'll see you on Monday for pickups.
Oh, that's funny. I think I shot like most of my most important scenes for this movie at the end of when I was about to wrap. So that was very intense, but it was very gratifying too. It was like almost like the culmination of all the training that I did and all my experience with the the cast and crew, and it was amazing. And I wrapped the day before my birthday.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we had kind of like a birthday dinner, and then I flew back home on my birthday.
Wow.
I just cried when I was wrapped.
Yeah.
I know
I
you
was
were.
emotional.
I cried. I missed them.
No, you made a beautiful speech too.
Yeah,
I cried as well. On my picture wrap for Principal, I was saying thank you to the crew, and it just can't, and I'm not one, I'm a bit of a stone when it comes to emotions sometimes, and it just came over me, and I felt my chin going, and I had to stop talking.
Hi fans in Taiwan, I hope you enjoy the movie and you see it on the biggest screen you can find. It's an epic adventure and I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, Taiwan. I can't wait for you to see Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I know you're beautiful, lovely, exuberant, film aficionados and goers, so I know you'll love it. The action was action-packed. It's thrilling. It's edge of your seat. It's a lot of heart, too. And we made it just for you.
Hi, Taiwan.
This film has to be seen on the big screen, IMAX if possible, because it is such a huge experience. This is the biggest practical action film ever made. Go see it in the biggest screen you can.
Thank you for all your support and love. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
你好吗, Taiwan. Thank you. 我爱你 and 很好. Come back, watch, enjoy. I need you to trust me. One last time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.